So when it says here, Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek l'olam haba, first it's telling you, make sure you're not one of these people that cut yourself out of the nation by making one of these big sins on a regular basis. Listen, somebody makes a sin one time, somebody makes a chilul Shabbat chas v'shalom, somebody shaves with a razor, somebody goes with a non-Jew, somebody eats not kosher, somebody makes all of these big sins. Okay, you made a sin, you do tshuva b'ezrat Hashem. Hashem created tshuva also. He knew he had to create tshuva before he created the world. But if you're doing it on a regular basis, doesn't matter, even if it's the smallest sin, you're on a regular basis going to McDonald's. Once a week you go to McDonald's. Now, eating non-kosher is not karet. It's not, you don't get cut off from the nation for eating non-kosher. It's not good. It's going to be very, very difficult, virtually impossible for you to learn Torah and actually understand what's going on. But it's not karet. But if you're doing it on a regular basis, you're violating the Torah on a regular basis where it's become part of your life, where you're accepting this is okay, this cuts you off from the nation. So yes, you are allowed to make sins. You're, in essence, expected to make sins. It says in the Torah, there's no such thing as a righteous person who doesn't sin. Shlomo Melech tells us. But don't ever think it's okay. Don't ever say, I made a sin. I went with a non-Jewish man only tonight. It's okay. It's only tonight, and tomorrow it's the same thing. And next week it's the same thing. If you say it's okay once, why isn't it okay again? This is the reason why the shita, the strategy that unfortunately many rabbis use in today's world of telling people that it's okay to drive to shul in the beginning until you eventually do tshuva, this is why it doesn't work, by the way. Because if you look at it from a secular mindset, if you look at it from someone who wasn't born in a religious family, now, someone like that is going to think about it pure human logic. He's not going to look at it with Torah logic. He's going to look at it with pure human logic. So human logic says, if it's okay for me to drive to shul today, you're saying it's okay for me to drive to shul today, on Shabbat. Saying it's okay. Just make sure to come to shul, even if you have to drive. You're saying it's okay. Why isn't it okay tomorrow? Why isn't it okay a year from now? Why is it okay 5 years from now? Now, if the rabbi answers, no. In the beginning I told you it's okay to drive on Shabbat because I knew that if you don't drive on Shabbat, you're not going to come. But now, you've already been coming for a year. It's time for you to go up. So the secular mindset says, why? Why do I need to go up? No, you've already learned mitzvot, you've already learned some Torah, you prayed with us. So then the secular mindset is going to say, yeah, but I'm not ready to go up. You may be ready for me to go up a level, but I'm not ready to go up a level. I'm ready to stay exactly where I am. I still feel like I'm new. I'm new. I'm only a year old. So what is the rabbi going to say? Okay, so he drives for another year. So now after 2 years of driving to shul, the rabbi asks, okay, no, so you're going to stop driving? Because why should I stop driving? It was okay for the first year. Yes, it was okay for the first year. You said it was okay for the first year. And technically you agreed with me that it was okay for 2 years. You can't say no, you agreed that it was okay for 2 years. If it was okay for the first year, it was okay for 2 years. So if it's okay for 2 years, then it's going to be okay for another 2 years. I'll talk to you in 2 years from now. And so the story continues, and the whole human logic beats the Torah here. Why? Because you're not using the Torah from day one. You're saying it's okay to sin. It's never okay to sin. It's never okay to drive to shul. You're going to drive to shul. It's your problem. I'm still not going to tell you it's okay. You want to drive to shul? Drive to shul. You want to eat pork? Eat pork. You do whatever you want. It's your life. It's your destiny. But I can never give you a sign-off and say, by the way, it's okay for you to drive to shul on Shabbat. Can't. just come to shul. There's no such thing. There's no mitzvah in the 10 Commandments that's listed in the 10 Commandments. You must go to shul. There's no such thing. 10 Commandments does not include going to shul. It does include keep Shabbat though. So when someone from the secular mindset looks at the religion and he sees that someone that's supposed to know giving the okay to sin, then immediately that person looks at the Torah as a complete joke, as something that's variable, something that can change. It's no longer divine. It's no longer from God, because if it was from God, it's never going to be okay to sin. If it was from God, it can never change. It was from God, there's no exceptions.
Unless that person gives the Rav.
Right, so if the guy gives the Rav some money and the rabbi sells Hashem out for money, then Hashem and Hashem, then both of them will have a nice place in Gehenom. But the key is to understand that you cannot make exceptions. Can't make exceptions. You have to tell people, listen, I would love for you to come to shul.
Stay home.
Okay, but the only way that I come to shul is if I drive. What's the proper answer? Somebody tells you, listen, the only way I come to shul is drive. Now, if you know that person has a closer shul, you tell them, listen, go to a closer shul. Don't come to my shul. Go somewhere else. If not, tell them, listen, come stay at my house.
Exactly.
Come stay at my house. We'll walk to shul together. Option 3, don't come. Pray at home. Yeah, but I don't know how to pray. Find a way to come. Don't drive. Yeah, but the only way I can do it is drive. Listen, I'm telling you should come to shul so I can teach you, but it's never going to be okay for you to drive. You have, at some point or another, you have to have some type of emunah that Hashem runs the world. If the rabbi is saying, no, listen, we're just trying to get him in and tell him it's okay for now, but later we're going to change him, how many of those cases actually worked? How many of those people that you told them it's okay to drive to shul on Shabbat, it's actually worked and they stopped driving on Shabbat? Very few. I'm sure some exist. I'm going to give them the kaf zchut, benefit of the doubt that they exist, but it's definitely not many. So here the Mishnah starts with, first off, make sure you realize you cannot cut yourself out of the nation if you want to be part of this share of the world to come. That's number one. Number 2, that it's teaching us here, is the Gemara says there are 3 things that will get you to this Olam Haba. This Olam Haba that everybody's waiting for. I'm sorry, there's several things you need to do in order to get to Olam Haba, which obviously you have to look at this first Mishnah. But before we even get to that point of actually getting to this Olam Haba, we have to realize, why is it being told to us in the beginning, before the Mishnah even starts? Tell us, listen, you could have Olam Haba, you could have Olam Haba. It's to give us hope. It's to give us hope, give us encouragement. Hey, listen, even you can get a share of the world to come. Just don't screw up. Don't get yourself cut off. That's number 1. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2. The Gemara says there are 3 things that you can get, but not without mesirut nefesh. Not without sacrifice, self-sacrifice. Number 1, learning Torah. You want to be a Talmid Chacham? You want to know a lot of Torah? It requires self-sacrifice. You want to learn Torah while you're eating cookies and chips and a little cup of tea? It's great. Enjoy. You could learn Torah as much as you want with tea and cookies and with your legs up on the couch, from 5 p.m. till 8 p.m. right before your show starts. You could learn Torah, no problem. But you're not going to be a Talmid Chacham. You'll know Torah. You'll know the basics. You'll know how to, you'll know that Moshe Rabbeinu existed. You know Mount Sinai. You may even know a few halachot. You'll know some Gemara. Yeah, you'll know. You'll know some things. No questions asked. But to be a Talmid Chacham, never going to happen. Why? Because in order for you to become a Talmid Chacham, you have to understand the value of Torah. In order for you to understand the value, once you understand the value of Torah, you're not going to be able to leave it. Meaning that you're going to eliminate the material world. The more you learn Torah, the more you eliminate the material world. The more you disconnect from the wafers and the chips and the Gatorades and the shows on TV and everything else.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.